Hey, Shalom. First, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful 8,000 of David. Let's get into this. This is going to be a precept of the day, a scripture of the day. I'm going to start doing like lessons on each scripture of the day. Me and my brethren here do, I'm gonna do a lesson. Just take that scripture and do a lesson on it. Then whatever lesson I got come after that. To push the word, and to be able to produce more. Because we all want to do that. We all want to try to produce more. Keep producing the same amount we have. We don't want to produce nothing, You don't want to be like that tree that Yahweh Shah cursed. Yahweh Shah came to that tree and he wanted something to eat, but he saw that it bare no fruit. So he said, what good with you? What good are you? He didn't say that. But he said he cursed that tree and that tree died. What? That tree was good for nothing. That tree was good for nothing. So what, he gone and tried, he gone and killed it, and it died instantly. It wasn't like no curse that would come later. No, that was a curse that came instantly. And at a moment, any of us can be taken out this truth, if we're not producing, So we need to produce. Do whatever you need to do, Talk about something you believe it can be edifying. I mean, we done already preached everything we could preach and repeated that. All we are is on repeat now, just like Noah. Just like Noah. Noah repeated his warning to the people that it would rain, that water will fall down the sky and there'll be a flood that cover the face of the earth. He preached that same message over and over and over again, like we do, over and over and over again. You think anything we said the apostles haven't said, or an elder hasn't already taught? Nah, we just expound on it. Sometimes it's good to recover these things because it'd be like a lot of things that we have forgotten. We forgot because it's been a minute since we heard it, and always good to get a refresher on it. So then refreshers come by what? A lesson that has already been done. It can have been done a few years, a few months, a few weeks ago. As long as you being edifying, you're producing, then it's good. What like these restaurants? People will go to the same restaurant and get the same thing. What? To be fed. A person is willing to eat a cheeseburger every day as long as they feel their appetite. And what are we supposed to be doing? Feeding the sheep. If it's the same meal over and over again, so be it. Just produce. Feed the sheep. Don't feed them nothing fake. That GMO stuff, that false doctrine, just straight up GMO. Feed them true doctrine, Feed them, well, how they say, is it whole foods, That real food ain't non-GMO, none that fake stuff, no additives, just plain on meat, plain old meat, So, let's get into it. The scripture of the day was Isaiah chapter 41, verse 8 through 13. And I'm going to read that down. Listen. But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. So what? Who did he choose? Israel, the 12 tribes. He chose them. He said they are his servants. They are his servants, And who gets to go into the house? Work in the house, work in the master field. his servants. He ain't finna let a stranger work in his field. Why? Because a stranger will steal. A stranger will destroy, you know? And who's the servant? But thou, Israel, my servant. Israel is his servant. So who's he coming to save? He's coming to save who? His servants. He didn't say Moab was his servant. He didn't say Elam was his servant. He didn't say Esau was his servant. You know? He said, but thou, Israel, art my servant. You know? You know? These the only people who can what? Who could become prophets for, you know, who has the authority to teach the word of Yahweh Hashem Shah from on high. You know? So what that tells you, the people that's going to be saved is his servants, is all the 12 tribes of Israel. You know? Let's continue. Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. Thou, who I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof. What? From the ends of the world. What that means? Israel is scattered everywhere. Israel is scattered everywhere and still is. You know, because from one captivity to another captivity, Israel stayed. Some Israelites stayed in the land of their captives once they was freed. You know, in those past captivities, but also they had children there with the locals. You know, the local nations. So you have Israelites that look like the people of these other nations. You probably have some Israelites. No, you will have some Israelites that look completely Chinese, Japanese, that look completely like Elam, like Ishmael, and the rest of these nations. Gonna be some Israelites that look completely like them. You know. You know, when we got here over, some of our people over there in Europe, some of our people, people out here in America, they mix with they got down with Esau. So you're gonna have some Israelites that look like Esau heavily, you know. Let's go. And said unto thee, thou art my servant. I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. And that cuts that replacement what's it called? The replacement theology or replacement doctrine, whatever you want to call it. It cuts that. Cause what? We know that what? Yahweh Hashem Shai, Yahweh and Yahweh are not men that they will lie. So what? I have chosen thee and not cast thee away. So the Israelites are not going to be replaced. The Israelites are not going to be replaced. What? In the kingdom of heaven, there are 12 gates. And what are the names of those 12? Whose name is on the 12 gates? The 12 tribes of Israel. Verse 10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy power. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Who is his right hand? That is Yahweh Shai. He's going to send Yahweh Shai with the whole host of his angels. He will uphold thee with his right hand. How? Yahweh Shai made that sacrifice to make you what? To be a joint heir with him, to bring you back into the fold. The fold of Godhood, for lack of better words. Verse 11, behold, all they that were incensed against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. Yeah, everybody that looked down on us, talk bad about us, couldn't see us being anything. All these people about to be astonished, confounded, but like, these are the chosen people. These people are the chosen people. These people were literally gods. These people are the universe, the masters of the universe. They're about to be confounded. Listen, they shall be as nothing, and they shall strive with thee, and they that strive with thee shall perish. What? When that spiritual power hit, them brothers that get that spiritual power, they ain't gonna be able to do nothing. They ain't gonna be able to do nothing against you. And for you few sisters that listen, they ain't gonna be able to do nothing to your man or your sons. You them sons, your husband gonna protect y'all. So what? You gonna have that bubble of defense, that barrier that they can't cross. That barrier that they can't cross. They ain't gonna be able to do nothing to your men children, to your husband, and what? And your husband, your men children are gonna be a defense to y'all. So what? They ain't gonna be able to do nothing against y'all. Y'all gonna eat. Y'all gonna be married. Y'all gonna be dancing. And I noticed that a lot about women. They really just be dancing. It's something. I think it was the elder apostle Tahar that said this. That women from kingdom to kingdom, all women did was just dance to the next kingdom, to the next kingdom, to the next kingdom. I'm always like, why is Eve? I'm gonna say the woman, because all the women. Why are all the women just dancing? When a woman get in the happy mood, she end up just dancing. I'm like, somebody ain't gotta be no music playing or nothing. I'm like, ain't this song? But anyway, yeah, they ain't gonna be. When steam pop off, it's not a damn thing Esau has that's going to be able to combat what spiritual power is about to bring. Ain't nothing on this earth that's gonna be able to combat that. Verse 12, thou shalt seek them and shalt not find them, even them that contended with thee, that they war against thee shall be as nothing, and as a thing of naught. They ain't gonna be able to do nothing. You can see a damn tank shell hit a brother. Boom. He gonna walk out of that fire like it was nothing. They just shooting at the brother. You seeing it with your own eyes. They're able to do nothing against him. And you women right there, y'all gonna be oohing and ahhing. Y'all gonna be believing. The same with the other nations and the other Israelites, about 2/3. They're gonna be. And then they shall be willing in the day of thy power, roughly paraphrasing. Verse 13. For I, Yahweh, thy power, will uphold thee For I, Yahweh, thy power will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help thee. Yeah, you gotta believe on this. You gotta expect miracles. You gotta expect when things go down, Yahweh Shemel Shai got you. Because what? We all ain't no escaping this. We all going through it. But his elect is gonna have that hedge, that barrier around them. You might be thrown in a concentration camp, but what's happening to these other people in the concentration camp won't happen to you. You might be lost in the wilderness or in the wilderness somewhere, but People gonna be in the wilderness getting destroyed, animals, bugs, another person. But you gonna be eating, laughing, giving praise to Yahweh Shem Shai for overshadowing you, for protecting you in those times. You know, that's what's gonna happen. He said, "Fear not, I will help thee." Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel, I will help thee, said Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. It's talking about, Yahweh Shai. And it said, why Jacob is a worm? Because he's defenseless. Have you ever went walking and you saw an ant you saw a worm being just straight, covered by ants. It's wiggling, it can't able to protect itself or nothing. The ants just devouring it. We're defenseless. And without Yahweh Shem Shai, ain't nobody's gonna make it out. Make it out. If you see a 2/3 that made it to the end, he got a worse thing coming. Because that means he been saved for the missiles. He's been saved for utter destruction. So with that, I hope you was edified. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. The honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone. Peace and blessings to the whole elect, the house of David. Until next time, Yahweh willing. Shalom.